Hey, gang, thanks for tuning in to the Castaway Friday Fish Fry podcast. The show starts now. Hey, gang, hopefully everybody can hear me. I'm going to wait a few minutes here and see if we get some more people on. Right now, it looks like we've got three people on my end, but thanks for joining in. This is podcast number 6. I don't know if it's looking good and who's watching right now. But hey, David Weaver's on here. Good to see you. I guess it's working somewhere. I don't know whether you're watching it on YouTube or the Facebook page, David, but thanks for joining in. I'm going to wait a couple more minutes here before I get going and see if some more people join in. I've got in the waiting room, I got Jimmy Sanders. I can kind of see him down there. You guys can't see him. And then Lisa's, she is in the waiting room. She's actually upstairs in the kitchen. She's watching too. But right now, those guys are here. Is there anybody that's on Facebook that can see this on Facebook? I don't know whether we're live on Facebook. I know we're live on YouTube. But I might not be able to see the Facebook comments, so I might drop by Facebook and check here in a few minutes, or if somebody wants to check and then let me know. There's Benji. Hey, Benji, how you doing, buddy? Probably going to talk about your little Demiki head a little bit, the kamikaze head, here in a few minutes. But looks like we're getting a few more people on. So tonight, I just wanted to get everybody caught up on what I've been doing on the lake this week, and wanted to try the live show, the streaming show. I just got StreamYard, and I've been kind of playing around with that. So it looks like it's working pretty good, at least on YouTube, but I don't really know about Facebook right now. I guess we'll find out as we go along, though. So anyway, like I say, I got Jimmy Sanders. He's in the green room. He's hanging out, just watching right now. And I'm going to talk a little bit before I bring Jimmy on and maybe tell you a little bit about how my week went. I think LJ, Jimmy Harmon's going to be coming on here in just a little. Oh, David said it looks good on Facebook also. That's good. Glad to hear that. So we're going to wait just a little bit longer. It looks like we've got a few more people coming in. LJ's going to be here in just a little bit. Benji's doing good, sitting in a motel room in Eufaula, Alabama, time for the BFL tomorrow. Well, good luck on that, Benji. Eufaula should be fun this time of year. I don't know. Maybe the fish are spawning, or they might even be post-spawn down there. But I know they're spawning here. But good luck tomorrow, Benji. Hang with us here a little bit. We'll get some more people in here. So anyway, like I was saying, LJ and Corey's going to be here in a little bit. They're just getting done eating and getting back home, and then they're going to join us here directly. And I think LJ's going to talk about what they got going on in the shop. And Corey might talk to us a little bit about some of the new stuff that he's got for Lanier Baits. But it's been a pretty tough week for me this week. I mean, I'm not a big bed fisherman, so I didn't do a lot of bed fishing. I just, every once in a while, I run across something that's on a bed, and, I might fool around with it for a little bit, but it's not like I'm out there looking for bedding fish. But there was a lot of fish on bed this week, and man, I tell you what, if I was a bed fisherman, I probably could have made a day out of it all week. But there's just so many shallow fish right now. It's hard to distinguish a 5-pounder from a 3-pounder, when you're up around these beds and up around the shallower parts. So the way I kind of approached it this week is, I read a lot of my history and a lot of the I've got a a little log book that I keep, and I can go back quite a ways. I can go to my blog and I can go back like 10 years or something like that. So I've been going back and looking at my logs, and just about every year this time of year, the biggest thing for me has been the Keitech, slow rolling the Keitech with a Damiki head. And so, when I started this week, the water temps were like 60 and above, and there were a lot of fish that were moving, a lot of fish up shallow, a lot of fish grouped up, swimming around the brush piles and stuff like that. So, I was throwing the Damiki, slow rolling that around brush and over the top of brush. And early in the week, that was working out really good, and I was catching a lot of fish that way. But as the week kind of progressed, and as the water actually got a little bit colder, that Damiki bite for me kind of slowed down a little bit. So I always had the worm. I had the shaky head, and it's worked for me. I've got my two favorite rods and what I've got on them behind me here, and I'm going to show you here in a little bit. But since the Damiki bite slowed down, it seemed like a lot of the fish, when the water got colder, started getting a little bit lower, and the water column started relating more to the bottom, where early in the week they were kind of up and swimming around, a lot of suspended fish moving around that they were easy to pick off with a swim bait and live scope. So today, I didn't fish yesterday, so today I was out there, and I just didn't see the same kind of setup. So I caught a few on the Damiki, especially around the docks. That's one thing that I did today was I threw the Damiki around the docks, and I caught some fish, but it wasn't the quality that I was really looking for. So I went to the shaky head, and actually my biggest fish came off the shaky head, and it was probably some fish that were bedding around docks. I just couldn't see the beds. I wasn't looking at live scope. I was just kind of making particular casts around the docks and around spud poles, the back of the docks. It just seems like a lot of fish here lately have been kind of between the docks, really shallow up close to the bank, because that's where they spawn. And so I've caught a few nice ones that way this week, but it's been kind of a shaky head thing. I'm going to kind of watch the comments here. I don't know that I can see the comments that are coming from Facebook, but I can see them from YouTube here. And says that David was catching them on 4-inch Prodigy, slow rolling it shallow, and they wanted a little pause. That's kind of the same deal, just kind of slow rolling a swim bait around. I was thinking today when I was out there, it won't be too long. The water's still a little bit too cold. I think maybe by the next full moon we'll be a lot closer to it. But we can start talking about a shad spawn before too long. And that'll bring a lot of other baits into play, like maybe a spinner bait and little shad pattern crankbaits and things that you'd want to beat the bank with up shallow when the shad are spawning. So I threw the spinner bait a good bit today up shallow around the rocks and wood, and kind of came away with nothing on that. It's still a little bit early. We got to wait till the shad spawn starts before that all starts. But I started throwing the shaky head around the docks kind of early afternoon this afternoon, and it just kind of started picking up around early afternoon, when the sun was getting up its highest. So the one that I caught today that I posted a picture of, that was my last fish today, and that was on a shaky head, and I'm going to show you the shaky head in a minute. Guy B just asked, have you tried any topwater? Yeah, I have. I caught my first topwater fish early this week. I was headed out of the marina, and right after I got to the end of the no wake zone, if you guys are familiar with Ball Ridge Marina, there's this one lone dock that sits right at the no wake zone coming out of Ball Ridge there. And I was kind of idling out of, coming from the gas docks heading out. And I was kind of watching that area in front of that one lone dock, and I see the fish come up. Now, this was like Tuesday or something like that. So I knew I know that top water's coming any day now. I mean it could start any day. So I saw that fish come up and swirl on the surface, kind of chasing something. I said, okay, there's one that come up, but he come up a second time, and when he came up a second time, I knew that he was like on to something. He was staying on the surface. So I had a sexy dog, big sexy dog, and sexy shad pattern. I had that tied on, and I got close enough to make a cast, and I made a cast, and sure enough, on the first cast, like it wasn't a big bass, but sure enough, it was a bass. Came up and just hammered that sexy dog. So I took that little bass off, and I thought, well, where there's one, there may be two. So I threw it back in there, and a big one blew up on it, but he didn't get hooked up. And then I didn't get anything after that on the top water. I threw it around a couple points, but I will say this: I ordered one of the new Cast 2.0 OGs, and I got it in the mail yesterday. Tied it on early this morning when I was island out in the same spot. And nothing was coming up, but I just thought I was going to throw that 2.0 G in there. And so I got in a position and dropped the trolling motor and threw that big OG and kind of walked it back. And it just kind of a quick walk and a couple of jerks and a couple of splashes. And just kind of walked it back real fast to the boat. And I was about 3/4 of the way back in the boat, and I looked down, and there was a big old boil underneath that thing. Man, whatever fish that was, I don't know if it was a striper or a big old bass in front of that dock, but whatever it was, it came up and swirled on that big cast 2.0 OG. Man, I wish he would have come on up and busted on that thing, but he just came up and gave it a quick look. Made a good swirl right underneath it and took off. And I never did get another one. I threw it probably about 2 or 3 other points, and no top water. I mean, it's coming. They want to come all the way up to the top, but I think we're still another couple weeks out from a decent top water bite. And I'll be throwing stuff like the Chapo and whopper plopper and things that make a lot of noise to try and draw them up. But to answer your question, Guy, that's about the only top water that I've done yet. They're just not committed to coming all the way to the surface. And really, I don't blame them. Like when I was out there today, the surface temps were back down to about 58, 57, 58, something like that. So they got to get back up there, and you got to get that bait up there on the surface, chasing that bait around. So we need just a little bit more warm water temps for the top water to get going. But it's not that far off. I definitely have it tied on and ready to go, and even test some of these points with it, especially early in the morning and late in the evening. You could probably run across something on top water early in the morning. Second place in the no forward-facing tournament this week was caught on a buzzbait. Yeah, and it might have been largemouth too, but it doesn't surprise me a bit, especially in the backs of these pockets. Throwing a buzzbait around shallow. I know that I've been going down to the dock and looking about every morning to see what kind of fish are back in our cove back here. And when I went down this morning, the water cleared up a little bit, and I was kind of looking in the cove, and I caught a big old spotted bass back there in the back of the cove. He seen me, and he swam on out of there. The spotted bass, they kind of like, if they see somebody down around the dock, they'll get out of town. So that spotted bass, he seen me, and he swam on out. But he was just back there in a couple feet of water swimming around. And that's the kind of fish that you get on those buzz baits, the ones that come back in these pockets, like what we live in, and they just kind of cruise around. They're looking for, the ones that come back here are mainly looking for brim. In this pocket, there's a lot of brim, but that's good for, those buzz baits are good for these back pockets and stuff like that. So it doesn't surprise me. I know that I don't know it for a fact, but I heard a lot of the guys were catching bedfish. And I'm not really that big a bed fisherman, but I guess a lot of the guys were catching bedfish during that tournament, from what I heard. But man, I tell you what, 24 pounds for Lanier. This is just setting a new precedence. I can remember not too long ago, like at the end of day one in the no forward facing tournament, I looked at the top 15, and it almost reminded me of like maybe 6 or 7 years ago before we had forward facing sonar. Because yeah, you saw Rob Jordan up there and Jason Johnson up there, and some of those guys that you would expect to see there, 7 or 8 years ago. So it just kind of reminded me of back fishing the Hammonds tournaments, 7, 8 years ago when I saw those results, because those guys, they know how to fish Lanier without forward facing sonar. And you've got a lot of bed fishermen too. So a lot of good local guys around here. So the results really didn't surprise me on day one, but at the end of day three, the guy that won, that did kind of surprise me. I figured for sure it'd be some local guy that's been fishing the lake a long time, but still 24 pounds is just awesome. I'm sure it was a lot of largemouth, but that's just setting a new precedent for our lake, and it just keeps getting better and better. So I think I'm going to bring Jimmy in right now and say hi to Jimmy. Jimmy's been fishing a little bit this week, and I talked to him a little bit about how he did today, but I didn't ask him too awful much about it because I knew he'd be here later and we could talk to him a little bit. So let's see if Jimmy can come on. Hey, Jimmy, can you hear me?
Yep, got you.
Okay, good. Well, Jimmy, I don't know. I guess everybody can hear me all right. I'm getting a little background noise here. I'm going to turn down my volume just a little bit, Jimmy, see if that helps. I don't know. Still got a little bit.
Sound good.
Okay, good. I can kind of hear it on my end, but it's okay. I think I can live with it. So, Jimmy, you been out this week? I guess you have a few days, huh?
Yeah, I fished Monday, Tuesday, and today, and I fished 4 days last week. And what I did last week is not anything like what I did this week as far as what I used. I'm kind of like you. Last week it was pretty much shaky head every day. And as the week progressed, my numbers increased. I never did have any killer days, but I caught solid limits every day. But I'm not catching any big fish, and I've been fishing predominantly docks with a shaky head.
Yeah.
And Friday, I got out there and I finally found some 62-degree water, up from about 57, 58, what I saw most of the week. And I just had to get that jerk shad out and try it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, first two docks I hit, I skipped under them and I caught fish on both of them immediately. They weren't big fish, but they were jerk shad fish.
Yeah.
Well, that was it. I fished a jerk shad the rest of the day and never got another sniff.
Yeah, I love that.
And Monday, David Loftus and I fished north, and I threw the jerk shad up there a little bit because the water temperatures up there Monday were 62-ish just about everywhere we went. But I never got a smell on the jerk shad. Everything we caught up there was on shaky head.
Really?
Well, come down here Monday, I go out and I catch a few fish on shaky head, and then I start picking the jerk shad up again because I'm finding 61-degree water. So I start skipping docks, and I can't get a smell on it. But I got a couple to come up on it between docks, but they were well out from the bank. They weren't anywhere near close to the bank. Every bite I've been getting predominantly has been on the docks, has been either halfway back or out towards the front of them, but on 15 foot or less on the front of the docks.
Yeah.
And Tuesday, I got out there and I went north. I went up and put in at Sardis, and I fished 53 Bridge, caught one off the riprap on it right off the bat. I thought that was going to be good, and I got two other swirls on the bridge and didn't catch anything else. So from there, I went north of up towards I guess 60 Bridge or whatever, and did some fishing up there. And I caught fish, got a good limit, but everything I caught up there was probably in less than 2 foot of water and about as close to the bank, skipping under docks and cables, as close to the steps coming to the water as you could get. I mean, if you'd skip it under there, I mean, as soon as it stopped, the bass would hit it. I mean, they were shallow. But then but the fish weren't there good yet. I've gone up there before and had real good days back 10, 15 years ago when Mitch Harper and I used to go up there, and we go up there and have some 50, 60 days fish a day. But it's a very short window, and the water temperature up there had gone up from the time David and I were up there from 62, and I was seeing 64, 64 and a half just about everywhere I stopped. But the fish just weren't there.
Yeah.
There was a few, but I mean, they weren't stacked in like I've seen them before. So Wednesday, I was supposed to be a observer in Joey Cifuentes' boat that was fishing this TAA tournament, and he had a cameraman in the boat with him, and the tournament officials deemed it was going to be unsafe to have 3 people with the high winds that we had that day, and I totally agree with them. So they brought me back home, and I didn't get to go out on that trip, which I would have loved to have done.
Oh yeah, that would have been fun.
Yeah, oh yeah, it would have been fun. But and I found out later that a buddy of mine who had got me the observer job for the day talked to Joey, and Joey said he didn't even know that they made that decision. That he said he'd have made room for me in the boat, but it is what it is. Anyway, got out there today. Been throwing the jerk shad, like I said, Monday and Tuesday. Got out there today where the water temperature had been 62, 63. When I put in, it was 55.
No.
I found the same thing you found. And by the time I got off the water today, I was finding some 58-ish degree water. But today I caught every fish I caught on a spot choker with either a 3-inch Prodigy or a 2.8 Keitech. Slow rolling it over the top of brush. Every fish came off of deep brush, 25 foot or deeper.
Jimmy, what was the weight on that spot choker?
First one I had on, I think weighed a quarter, and I hung it up in some brush. And the last few fish I caught was on a 3/8.
3/8.
And it was the first one was white or pearl color, and that's the one I was throwing the Prodigy on. And the second one was a kind of a grayish shad color, and I was throwing a kind of a blue glimmer shad 2.8 Keitech on it.
Yeah.
But it was brutal out there today. I never found any calm water. And everywhere I fished, I was in the right in the middle of all the wind. I mean, I was fishing. I fished a lot of main lake stuff and real big pockets that were not sheltered by the wind. And I tried to throw a shaky head, but I couldn't feel a bite with a 40 foot of bow and line. So I could better control the spot choker by throwing it out and just a slow retrieve. I counted down about 10 to 12, depending on how high the brush was, and just tried to bring it right over the top of the brush. And I did not see any fish. They had to be glued to the bottom and just came up after it, because just a couple of places I might have seen a stray fish swimming around when I was scoping, but most of them I never saw them when they hit.
Yeah.
And y'all were talking earlier about the Touring Anglers tournament. First place, every fish he caught, I think, were largemouth, and he caught every one of his fish bed fishing.
Yeah.
The second place guy was the guy, I think it was David Williams. I think David did catch a lot of fish on a buzzbait. Third place, Emil, I was told, caught all of his fish on a general, and all his fish were spots. And
Yeah.
Joey Cifuentes was throwing a ball and chain, or better known as a Carolina rig, on long clay points, just dragging it. And from what I understand, everything he had was spots too.
So Emil Wagner, you said a general. We talking about the worm, the general?
Yeah.
The
Yep,
Senate
Berkeley
worm?
General.
Yeah,
Yep.
Berkeley General. Okay. All
Yep.
right. Cool. That's a good
And
one.
I think I read that on one of Emil's posts.
Yeah.
And I got the other information from Shane Durant's. Shane did the photography for this tournament up here this week, and he also shoots the Bassmaster Elites and the Opens, and he knows all these pros. And they pretty much told him everything that all of them did. At least the ones on the Elites.
Well, yeah, Shane would probably know. He pretty much in with those dudes. So I guess it sounds to me like I heard one of the guys comment that a lot of fish were on bed from what he said. I mean, that there was just tons of fish on bed, which would kind of explain why I've got this lack of big fish, I guess, and you as well, you know.
Yeah.
So
Well, like I said, today I have been fishing shallow every day, but today. And like I said, today, with the drop in the water temperature and stuff, I mean, last time I was out there, it was 62, and this morning, like I said, it was 55. It had dropped 7 degrees. So that's the reason I didn't go shallow today. I never threw at a shallow fish.
Yeah, I didn't know. You know, when I first got out there today, I didn't know what it was going to be like because we had that temperature drop. I was kind of rolling through the marina, and I thought it was kind of funny because when I went through the marina, it was 53, and it's 54, and it kind of hung up around 54, 55, and I was like, man, I wonder if this is going to pull those fish back a little bit, you know, and kind of get them to chill out a little bit. Sure enough, I didn't see half the action today that I saw earlier in the week. You know, so it just seemed like my fish kind of disappeared. So,
Yeah,
but
well,
anyway, we're good.
next week we're supposed to have. I think we're going to have one day in the 60s, and then we're going to have several days in the 70s, and we're supposed to also have rain. So the warm temperatures, and with the warm rain, maybe the water temperature will start creeping back up, and they'll get back up in that shallow pattern again.
Yeah, let's hope so. I mean, man, it can't get much worse. I mean, we're supposed to be getting warmer water, not colder water here.
Yeah, well, it is Georgia on the 1st of April, so there you go.
Yeah. Well, Jimmy, I see LJ hanging around there in the green room. Let's see if we can bring him on too. And I'm gonna keep you on, and we'll bring LJ on. There he is. Hey, LJ, can you hear us all right?
Yeah, I hear you good.
I can
Hey,
hear
bud.
you. So what's
Hello
up, LJ? Did you,
Not much. I'm sitting here getting sick looking at that shirt Sanders is wearing.
Hey, I could turn my camera around and show you the whole room if you want to see it.
No, don't do that to me again.
I'm sitting in my man cave tonight.
Oh, my Lord. God, you seen that, hadn't you, Jim?
What's that?
You his man cave.
I have no. I don't think I've ever been in Jimmy's, man. I've been upstairs,
Oh,
but
my.
not downstairs.
Oh, you're in for a shock.
Because of the Tennessee, all the Tennessee stuff.
There's nothing but orange in that place.
Man, I don't know, man. I got crimson and gold. I'm an LSU fan. Something might happen if I go down there.
Yeah. Hey, I'm even. Hey, look here. I've even got my Tennessee cup down here. I'm drinking out of.
Oh my God. Wow.
Golly.
So what's up, LJ? Did y'all have some Mexican tonight?
No, we went and actually had a pizza up at Brooklyn Joe's.
Oh, okay.
Raffy was up with us. You know, he moved up here next to us.
Oh, good. You got all their neighbors now, huh?
Yeah. That's why he always joins us. So what y'all been talking about? I'm sorry I was a little late to the party. And we got in.
Just about how our week's been going. I was picking Jimmy's brain a little bit to see if he's on that jerk shed bite yet. So
You own it?
sounds like-
Is it started for you yet, Jimmy?
Monday and Tuesday, yes. But with this drop in the water temperature, I was telling Jim and whoever's listening, I didn't even fish shallow today. I didn't catch a fish that was in less than 20 foot of water.
Raffy and I went out the other day, and it had a cold front roll through, and we couldn't get a bite up shallow, and we backed up, and I was actually dropping in about 20 to 25 foot of water off of the points and secondary points, and caught them pretty good.
Yeah.
I dropped a couple of times today on brush, but I couldn't get them to react to it. And I'm not even really sure. I thought I saw something swimming around it, but I never got a reaction to it. Only way I was telling Jim a while ago, the only way I caught him today was I caught every fish I caught on a spot choker.
Yeah, Jim, that Demiki head that you throw a lot.
Yeah.
I get reports all the time. People sending me text message reports. The swimmer and the hover shad, the swimmer and our hover shad.
Yeah.
They've been getting some big reports, catching them on just rigging them up on a Demiki. Well, as a matter of fact, Jimmy, they were running that hover shad on the back of a spot choker.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, and our little 3-inch swimmer, they were just running on our 1/4 ounce Demiki head. I think you fished that a lot, Farmer.
Yeah. I get, the best combination I found is that your 1/4 ounce Demiki head and that 3-inch swimmer you got. I can remember a couple of years ago. It's been like, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 years ago. But man, we were on that 3-inch swimmer bite that your 3-inch swimmer. Remember that? I mean, you couldn't keep them in stock. I know Jimbo was using them. I was using them. I don't know if Jimmy was using them, but man,
I remember when we were throwing them up on those real shallow blow-throughs and all, and reeling them out and catching them.
Yeah, was that during spawn? Was that when it worked the best?
Yeah, and that's about to happen. That's why I brought everybody's basically seen our jerk shads, but that's why I was asking Jimmy. And I asked somebody else. I can't remember who I was talking to today. They brought their boat up. And damn, who was? Oh, a guy named Trip, and he. I was asking him if he'd noticed that the Harriet spawn had gotten started yet. I don't think it has. I hadn't had any reports that it has.
Yeah. No, I think it's too early. We got a little ways to go. Probably.
But I'll tell you one thing. We're getting I'm getting a lot of reports coming in on three colors and on a shaky head. That's where 90% of the people that have sent us have been catching them on a shaky head with one of these 3-colored worms, and one of the colors kind of surprising to me. Are you checking your status?
Yeah. I'm actually I'm getting some bad feedback. No, I'm not. I'm liking stuff. No, I'm not. I'm actually, there's some bad feedback here on my end. I don't know if you guys can hear it or not. But hey, Jimmy, turn your volume down a little bit. See if maybe that's it. It started whenever you came on. So if you got like a way to turn your volume down, I want to check that.
How's that?
A little better.
Is it mine?
No, because it started when Jimmy came on. So
Well, it's that dadgum orange.
Oh, shut up.
yeah, I don't know. We'll figure this out though. It's some kind of feedback or something. But all right, LJ. Well,
Hey.
what else have you got?
No, I was going to tell you, bruised tomato.
Yeah.
That new Lily Jade. This is the color that surprised me up shallow. Was this Lily Jade color? And they're on the website. I'm trying to figure out, but it's like a blue lily on top, but it has melon candy on the bottom. It's the new one. And then the other one was the new Purple Rain. Those three colors have been on fire on the shaky head. I mean, those are the only three colors people are calling me about.
Hey, Jimmy, hang on a minute. I'm going to mute you. Hang on. Here.
There you go.
See, I thought it was Jimmy. I muted Jimmy, and now it sounds a lot better.
It's that orange.
Yeah, that's what somebody said. Somebody said it's the orange. So.
See? See?
Huh?
You want to switch out? Use this?
No.
Who's
Yeah,
that
it
in the
was
background?
Jimmy. We got you on mute because as soon as I muted you, why it quit. The bad juju quit.
Hey, guess what we came out with? Guess what Corey came out with?
What?
Our stick baits backed by popular demand, the Cinco styles.
Do they sink?
They don't have as much salt in them. They don't sink as fast. But
Yeah.
these things, when Corey put them up on the website, they sold out in like 2 days, and he had to get more in.
Serious? Like,
Yeah.
what colors everybody buying?
One melon rose and what color is it? Lily. I think it's Lily Jade and melon rose.
Yeah.
That was kind of surprising. It's got melon rose has got a little pink in it.
Oh yeah, I see that. Yeah.
Pink, and it's like it looks similar to baby bass on top with a few. It looked like but it's got a pinkish bottom, and that thing is this thing is the one they've been getting all the calls on. But this blue one, I noticed that Dana had been throwing like an electric blue lizard rig Texas style, and we're catching the slop out of them.
Really? Well, I mean, it's that time of year. Lizard and Texas rig lizard, or even Carolina
rig, yeah.
Go with pretty good.
Have y'all? I mean, years ago we used to throw the lizard all the time this time of year. Do y'all ever do that anymore?
No, I don't.
I mean, it's a killer technique. You fishing a lizard this time of year. I don't know why. I mean, maybe people do it and they just keep it to themselves. I don't know.
Yeah, I talked to last year. I think it was last spring. I talked to an old dude in front of Ball Ridge campground there at the riprap in the front of the campground and in the creek there. There's this old dude. He was like in an old John boat. He was just going up and down the bank, and he's catching fish. And so I was fishing kind of near to him, so I just kind of wedged my way into where he was so I could talk to him for a minute and ask him how he was catching his fish. Darned if he wasn't dragging a lizard, Carolina style, right there in front of that riprap, probably about 20 feet of water, 10, 20 feet of water. And catch me. Yeah, there you go, Ron Pendergrass. He said, we do a 5-inch lizard Carolina rig. So, I mean, that's something that dudes still use. They might not talk about it a lot, but they still do it.
Well, I haven't fished it in a long time. And I saw Dana had a video up, and I saw it, and he was actually, that's what he was Texas rigging a lizard. And I got to thinking, I said, God, I got probably 9,000 lizards in a box back there that I hadn't thrown.
Do you? Well,
is Jimmy still muted? Jimmy's still muted, isn't he?
Yeah, yes. We can unmute him, but I think Jimmy is in the muted doghouse because there's some kind of feedback on his. See there, I just unmuted him and he came right back.
Oh yeah. Well, I can give you some sign language if you want.
I can give you some back.
Hey,
We're trying to keep the show clean, LJ.
I know.
we don't want this thing to go off the rails on the first live podcast. Hey Jimmy, I got you muted again, so hang with us. We can't hear what you're saying, Jimmy, but hang with us. It sounds a lot better when I got you muted. So anyway, we'll keep Jimmy here, but we'll just mute him. So okay, LJ. So what's next for you? We got the 3-inch swimmers.
Just the jerk shad and the 3-inch swimmer are about to get crazy, and the hard swimmer. You know our hard swimmer, our herring colored hard swimmer.
Yeah, I know. I was just gonna say that.
This thing was crushing them last year during the herring spawn.
Yeah.
You can't reel it fast enough, and you can't reel it in enough places. Anything that's hard, if it had a herring spawn going on, they were crushing that thing.
Oh, I know. I was just gonna say it's just almost time because when I was looking through my history, I started seeing some Siebel stuff, some Siebel talk. Your swimmer.
Yeah.
So it's getting close. So I wanted to say this about the topwater too. I was looking through my history, and 2021 topwater started in early April. April the 9th was my first topwater video. So it's the 5th of April, 2024. But in 2021, topwater, I caught my first topwater fish the 9th of April. So we're closing in on it. I caught it on a popper, and I've got a YouTube video, but I probably won't play it. But anyway, we're closing in on topwater real quick. And if there's topwater, they're going to be biting your hard swimmer too, LJ. So
yeah,
especially
we got the new Gen 2 that came out because Jimmy Sanders will tell you
what?
Do Jimmy out, tell him to come back in. I'll remove him and tell him to come back in.
Okay, I got Lisa telling me stuff here. Sorry about that. I didn't hear you, LJ.
I said we got the Gen 2 out on our hard swimmer.
Yeah.
We increased the break strength on them because one, Sanders said they had one just split a striper just split one apart. We had about 10 failures out of 2,800.
Yeah.
And so we got with them, and we went from 25 pounds of pressure to 35 pounds of pressure.
Yeah.
And we haven't hurt anything. All I know is that people are reeling them as fast as they can, and they don't roll. They don't blow out or nothing.
Good.
But that's going to be that. Well, y'all know that FCN H2O color and the herring color.
Yeah.
Those things are killers.
Yeah. Yeah, I know they are, LJ. So I'm looking forward to it. I got one in the new boat, ready to go now. I threw it a little bit the other day, but no joy yet. We're still, a little ways away from that.
Hey, what are you throwing that on? Are you throwing it on like a spinning rod with 10, 12 pound line?
I have been, yeah.
Fluorocarbon?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
On a spinning rod though.
Yeah.
So
I want
you
it to sink a little bit.
Yeah, you want it so you can do your underhand cast?
Well, yeah, the underhand, the underhand cast. You like that Dan Quisenberry special?
Yeah.
So.
Every time you cast, I think of what's that guy Jacoby? He used to pitch for the Pirates.
Yeah. Quisenberry was that way. Remember Quisenberry?
Yeah, sure.
He had that like underhanded sidearm pitch.
Yeah, and who was the brave Brad? Golly, remember Brad Klontz?
Yeah.
For the Braves, he had that submariner.
There's a few dudes out there, we were talking about that the other day. Those guys that like have that sidearm throw, man. I kind of like that. But
it's kind of funny. Morgan told us today that Tessa, well, you know his wife, but for the viewers, they don't know his wife. But that Tessa has a cast kind of like you do, kind of an underarm thing.
yeah.
He said every time she goes to cast, he has to run.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure, man. I would run too. Anytime, if you got Tess mad at you, you better run. 'Cause I wouldn't hang out for any of that.
That girl's a mess.
Poor Morgan, man. Yeah. They're probably
Morgan,
watching.
we had we're backed up with boats over here. I got sick and then hurt my ankle, and I got backed up. Morgan came over to help me some today,
Yeah.
and he was talking about Tessa's cast. It was it was pretty
Oh,
funny.
yeah. Hey, Muddy Bass asked if we caught any fish on bed yet. Yes, I have. As a matter of fact, I'll tell this little story about a big bass that I caught early this week on bed. And this was a live scope on bed because some of these spots, they'll bed a little bit deeper. And so I know of one place where they're always bedding this time of year. So I went to this one place and I was looking around for beds and live scope, and I saw this big clump of grass, and it was on live scope, and it was in about 12 feet of water on the bottom. It's just a raised spot, which was just a big clump of grass down there. And I saw some humps moving around inside the clump of grass.
Yeah.
And I saw some smaller fish swimming around said clump of grass too, but there were two big old humps inside that clump of grass, and I could see their backs pop up every once in a while. So, yeah, Money Bass, I went over there and I got within about 30 feet of the bed, and I pitched my shaky head right down. I watched it go right down into the center of the bed, and I see one of them humps move, and I feel a tick. And there it was. It was a big old girl that weighed over 4 pounds. But that bass was on a bed. That was on a bed that was 12 feet deep. But yeah, and I saw some a lot shallower too. But yeah, I've caught a few. I caught one that was probably on bed today, kind of around a dock, a shallow dock. And that's the one that I had in the video earlier today.
We had that conversation last night at dinner. We were talking about the spots. Seemed like they're spawning deeper this year.
Yeah, they do. I think they do. At least the one that I saw spawning earlier, that was 12 feet of water. Steve, no, haven't got on that carp bite yet. How about you? Did you see Steve Pinkston ask if we were on carp
I
bite?
can't see the chat.
Oh, you can't see it?
Mm-mm.
Steve Pinkston wanted to know if we were on a carp bite. So.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. No, but we are drop shotting ham sandwiches.
Should we tell Steve Pinkston stories?
No, it will go off the rails.
No, I know. But Steve, I remember one time Steve got a couple spy bait hooks in the middle of his back. That's about the only Pinkston story I know.
No, the funniest story, it was the one you told about hooking the kid in the top of the foot with a spy bait.
Oh yeah, his dad did that. His
dad.
Poor kid, man.
But it was you said, he said, "Is it bad?" And your comment was, "Oh man, this ain't good."
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. It might not be totally bad, but it ain't good. Yeah, it happens though. It happens.
You just don't say that to a kid.
Yeah.
Oh my God. How bad is it? Well, it ain't good.
Yeah, well, here's the deal with that. We had to push that hook through, and so what I did was I got a big old chunk of ice, and I put it right where the hook was. It buried in his top of his foot, and I froze it. And I said, it ain't gonna hurt near as bad pushing it through if we got it the ice on there. So I held the ice on it for about 5 minutes or something to get it nice and frozen, and then I was able to push it on through. But poor kid. I mean, this kid was probably 20 years old, and he cried. I mean, he cried. Poor guy. But you know what was really wild about that is the kid was up in the front with me, and I was showing him how to drop shot in the front. Dad was throwing a spy bait off the back of the boat, and I don't know how it happened, but I was bent over looking at the screen on my 2D, and so all of a sudden, Dad goes to make a cast with a spy bait, and I hear this thump, and it was the spy bait burying into the top of his foot, the top of it, missed the sandal totally and just buried. And that thump was that spy bait just thumping the hook, thumping into the top of his foot. And I was like, this is not, the kid let out a screech like, I don't know, some kind of pterodactyl or something.
That's what you said.
And I thought, oh, that's gotta hurt. That's gotta hurt.
Well, man, all you got to do is look at those spy bait hooks, and they'll hook you.
Yeah. Oh, I know. They're telling
All you got to
me.
do is look at those. Are some sharp hooks.
Yeah, Jimmy, you
Good
back
thing
on?
about them, they're small.
Yeah, they are. You can handle them good. But
Hey, he doesn't have any echo behind him.
I don't hear him. Lisa came up with that. She said to boot Jimmy off and then bring him back on and see if it sounds a lot better now. Hey, Jimmy, good to have you back. We don't have to.
Okay, is that why I left a while ago? Did you boot me off?
Yeah, actually, Lisa's upstairs. She's the admin. She's working all
Okay.
the controls like the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain. So she's the one that booted you off, not me.
Yeah, well, you don't need to be talking bad about her like you were before the show started either.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
Look, here she is here.
I'm on your
Well,
side,
yeah.
honey.
oh. You need to you should have taped that, Jimmy.
Hey, I'm not. Hey, they got control over it. I don't have any control. All I can do is tell you what I heard, but I'm not going to do that.
Whoa.
Have you
I
got,
told him that's the way we fish in the boat all the time. He's trying to tell me what to do, and I'm in the back of the boat.
Yeah,
Well,
Jim, did you
They
put a yellow
sounded
line?
they sounded a whole lot like Carol and I do.
Yeah.
Jim,
that
you got the
LJ?
only speeder with a yellow line goes across it where she can't come forward.
And somebody the other day pulled up to me and said, "Nice yellow boat."
Who's that?
My boat's like totally yellow now.
Corey said the defending champ is on the podcast right now. That's Lisa.
Hey, hey,
Yeah.
let's get that out of the way right out of the gate. Is who gets to fish on the front or the back of the boat? Jim?
Well, when Jim calls me and says he needs to make sure the back unit works good for vertical fishing, I kind of figured you weren't allowed up front.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
Well, she spanks his butt pretty good from the back.
That's what I was
say,
about to say. That's what I was about to say, Jimmy. I said every time they're out having a little competition, she's always up at the front of it. She's
Yeah.
ahead of him.
I'm
I
good with
know.
that. I can fish the whole back of the boat and all behind me.
Yeah, you got a lot of. I mean, she's got it made back there. I told LJ this before, but like when we had the old boat, well, she had like a 12-inch screen, 10, 12-inch screen back there. She was looking at that chair. That chair was ergonomically correct. I think Lazy Boy actually made that chair for Ranger back there. It had everything. It had a seat warmer in it. I mean, what's not to like about being up there? I'm in the front working a trolling motor. I got like a 7-inch screen that I'm looking at, So what's not to like about being in the back? The only thing that she doesn't have is like air conditioning. So,
Well, you telling the story about when you told her how to use the remote and put it on spot lock? You was getting whiplash.
Oh yeah, we don't. I don't let her have the remote anymore.
We don't have spot lock anymore. We don't have that. We got to get that.
That's right. we don't. Yeah.
Oh my
But
God.
you ain't got spot lock on that Skeeter?
Well, I don't have the puck on it yet. The little. The
Oh, okay,
GPS.
okay, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So apparently you need the
Who?
puck for the spot lock to work. So I got to pull it out of the water and put the puck on, and then put it back in the water. I got to clean it out anyway.
Who is Big Fish Gal?
That's
Lisa.
me. That's me. Hey, that was my test name. That was my test name. So then it stuck.
Big Fish Gal.
Yeah. You better know it.
She,
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You doubt that? You doubt that, LJ?
no. I
You've
remember.
been-
I
You've been
remember
with
we
me
went out.
before.
Jim, it's on video too. When we were out that winter time, and she stuck a good sized spot on a drop shot in about 45 foot of water.
Yeah.
And she says, get him, LJ, get him. And I reached down there and I lipped him. I said, wow, this is hooked perfect. Look, he hooked him right in the front of the lip, right in the mouth. She says, well, of course I did. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, exactly.
She said, you don't think I know what I'm doing?
Exactly.
Hey, I did have a good
She's deadly.
teacher. I did have a good teacher. I will say that.
Yeah. Yeah, she is deadly. There's two things that Lisa does well in the boat, and both of those are finesse. One's shaky head, and I mean, you gotta kind of learn to shaky head. And the other one's a drop shot, and it's because she's got the softer hand. She can feel that, that little bite. And
Hey, women and kids will kill you on a drop shot
oh, I know,
because their hands are so much more sensitive.
Yeah.
Hell, I had Lynn catching fish on a drop shot. You know they're sensitive hands then.
If she
Oh,
can
yeah.
catch a fish,
Oh, listen to
anybody can
Lisa.
catch one.
Listen to Lisa there.
Hey now.
Hey, honey, Lisa just threw you under the bus.
Yeah.
She said, I heard you.
Hey, David Weaver said spot lock is awesome. I'm telling you, this is the time of year that I thrive on spot lock because number one, well, another time is when spy bait season comes around, but like right now, slow rolling the Demiki with the swim bait through, whether it's your 3-inch or a Prodigy or 2.8 kite. I mean, they're all good swim baits, but with this springtime wind, man, spot lock is such a good thing to have. And I miss it right now because right now I'd be, out there sitting upwind of a brush pile with spot lock on, just fan casting, if I wasn't using, my forward facing sonar. But that's something that I've always done every year. And David Weaver, you're right. Spot lock is awesome. And I miss it. Until I get my little puck on there, I'm not going to have spot lock. In a day like today with all that wind, you got to have that spot lock. So yeah, I'm really.
Hey, speaking of, how are you now that you're in the forward facing sonar?
Yeah.
Game, Jim. How are you liking it?
I'm liking it pretty good, but man, I'll tell you, you could get sucked into 100%. I mean, if you just wanted to go out there, and I know dudes that do this, like Scoggins, like Sean Scoggin, I asked him, I said, how much spot locking are you doing? And he's like 100%. There's other dudes too, 100%. I could go out there and just turn that spot lock on and just make a day out of nothing but spot lock and a swim bait, a little 2.8 Kitech or something like that. To answer your question, LJ, I like it, but I like blending it in and just using it part-time. And I think, Jimmy, you're probably about the same way. You're kind of blended with it. You're kind of using it 50-50. How much are you using?
Yeah. I don't use it 100%. I've got it on most of the time. There's been a couple of days when I was skipping flukes under cables. I never cut it on. But doing what I did today, when I'm offshore, I've got it on. But I don't depend on it 100%. I'm kind of like you. I'll go up and I'll find the brush, scan a little bit, then I'll spot lock, and then I'll fan cast.
Yeah. Yeah, and here's what I did. What was it? Wednesday. Wednesday was a real windy day. I didn't go out yesterday, but Wednesday I went out and it was really windy. And I went to the back of this pocket, this cut, I guess you could call it, almost all the way back in the back. And the way I was using forward-facing sonar was there was a lot of fish in the area in about 100-yard area, and I was looking at forward-facing sonar to get a location kind of where the fish were. And then I'd make a cast just kind of randomly into that area. I wasn't specifically throwing at a specific fish or maybe one or two fish. I was just seeing where the fish were, the groups of fish were, and then just making a random cast into the area. And I was catching them that way. It didn't have to be singling out one or two fish or whatever and throwing and trying to catch them. I was just using it to find the areas that the fish were in and just throwing in that general area. I always remember something that Matt O'Connell told me. He told me a long time ago that forward-facing sonar, a lot of times these fish will react to a bait, even though that bait splashed 30, 40, 50 feet away. So those fish, they'll come from a ways to go get your bait. You don't necessarily have to put it right in front of them right now. You can be 30 feet away from them and they'll chase it down, you know. So just being in the right area is good enough for me. And that's what I'm using the forward-facing sonar for right now. More than anything, just locating the groups of fish and just making a random cast into that area. So, but I like it. I like it. I think it's pretty cool, you know. So.
Well, just wait till you see what's coming out next.
Yeah, I heard that there's pretty cool stuff on the horizon. And it wouldn't surprise me, you know. It wouldn't surprise me if I told somebody the other day, in technology in the military, you know, looking at forward-facing sonar technology and comparing it to technology in the military, forward-facing sonar is like archaic. Really, it is. I mean, you could build a software program to give you a pretty good idea of the size of the fish, you know, just from how far the fish is away and the signature that the fish has. I mean, I'm sure that there's going to be really cool stuff within the next 5 years. So, well, you got any intel on what's coming out, LJ? What do we got?
I don't know. I heard some things, but I can't discuss it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody's laughing at you, LJ.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Especially Lynn's over there laughing now.
I heard Lynn in the background. I wondered if that was Lynn back there.
She knows I already got it on my boat, and the video camera is unbelievable.
Yeah.
No,
I'm joking. Do tell. You already have it on your boat. Really?
No, I'm joking. I don't have it on there.
I know.
Tell you something though. I think we had this discussion. I had this discussion. Was it last night at dinner? We talked about it. I said I probably have caught more fish using just 2D than I have forward facing. But then I'm a vertical fisherman.
Yeah, that's because you can't cast.
That's overrated. Casting's overrated.
Yeah. Okay,
but you don't need forward facing or 360 for vertical fishing. You don't need it.
You don't.
I mean, down scan and 2D is all you need.
When I have used the Mega Live in the down mode, and I will tell you, you will be surprised at how many fish are really down there.
Yeah.
When fishing vertical with it.
I know.
God Almighty, you can see you can't. I've got some video of it, and then you pull up on a brush pile and you think there's only 2 or 3 fish on it, and it's all of a sudden here come 50.
Oh, I know, and I'll tell you something that I saw on Wednesday too when I was just kind of looking around with the live scope and finding the groups of fish. One thing I saw was in the middle of the little channel that I was in. These fish were just shooting up off the bottom, and you wouldn't even know they were there until they came up, and it was like they would just it would just go from flat bottom to you'd see like 3 or 4 of them like missiles just coming straight up off the bottom. And there was a lot of bait. There was a lot of bait in the area too, pods of bait. I guess they were thread fins, but they would shoot up and they'd attack the bait, and then you'd watch them and they'd shoot straight back down and they'd disappear into the bottom. You'd never know they were there. I mean, it was incredible just on forward-facing sonar to watch those fish shoot off the bottom like missiles and come up and and hit a little pod of bait or something like that. But,
Y'all ready to get a good laugh?
Huh?
You ready for a good laugh?
Yeah, go ahead.
Always.
Watch this. Watch this. Lynn, go get me a cup of coffee, woman.
You drinking coffee this late?
No, I'm just, she ain't getting nothing. She just said, yeah, okay.
I can see her
off.
lips
Hey,
moving. I
have
know
to
what she
cut.
told you.
She said more
No,
than that.
no cussing. No
Yeah,
cussing on this show, LJ.
I had to mute her out.
Oh yeah. We can't say cuss words.
Right. Like we
Right.
know she just jumped up and ran and got you coffee.
Yeah. She got a good laugh out of it.
Yeah,
Jimmy,
David
you watching
Weaver.
the ball game? What are you doing?
Who, me?
No, Sanders.
No, I looked over at the TV. No, the ball game's over. South Carolina whooped North Carolina State's butt.
Wow.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah. What's
Well, in case y'all are wondering, the Braves are up. The Braves are losing.
who's that big boy play for? South Carolina? The
Who,
big-
Edie?
Yeah, the big 300-pounder.
Purdue.
Purdue.
That's who beat Tennessee.
Purdue is for
Oh,
real.
that's right. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
7-4, 300.
Yeah. That's a dude. Yeah.
Yep.
Dude's a big old boy.
He just
Corey-
stands there, puts his arm up, catches the ball, and just drops it in the hoop.
Yeah.
Man, I'll tell you what. I've got UConn to win it all in my bracket, but I'll tell you who scares me is North Carolina State. They're just playing
They're-
good basketball.
They're kind of a Cinderella team, aren't they?
That's what I think. Yeah.
The Cinderella team is Bama in the Final Four.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Tennessee's not in it no more, though, right?
No, Purdue put us out. Smart butt.
Big boy.
I was just making sure you knew that.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep it civil here, LJ, but you're going to pull my string here in a minute.
Yeah. Hey, but Eddie Cole is from Turtletown, Tennessee, and his wife is from Ducktown, Tennessee, and they're right next to each other. Well, the Turtletown Terror was leading, and in the bracket, he had it all and had Tennessee win it all. Now he's gone.
Yeah.
Turtletown.
Yeah,
All right.
they're both just north of Chattanooga.
Yep.
That sounds like the middle of nowhere.
Yeah,
he
pretty
said
much.
They didn't have a stoplight. They didn't have a stoplight.
Yeah, they got Barney writing tickets.
So, Jim, what have you been throwing lately? Casting.
Well, I'm going to show everybody here. I'm probably going to get rid of a few of you guys, but yeah, I mean, you can hang out if you want. But I was going to show everybody my top 2 baits for the week that I've caught every one of my fish on this week, even though I haven't posted a lot of pictures. I've got some pictures. I just haven't posted them yet. But I was going to cover my top 2 favorite baits this week and what I caught all my fish on, and the rods and the reels too. I got some new rods and reels coming. I'm going totally St. Croix, totally Shimano. I've got a couple other rods, like the one that I throw my shaky head on. I'm going to grab this real quick and I'm going to show you. What
Hey,
are you eating? What are
Jimmy.
you eating, LJ?
Nothing. I was getting a worm out of a bag.
Oh, okay. I thought you were eating again.
No.
We're eating gourmet marshmallows.
Oh, Corey's over here eating gourmet marshmallows. He and Lynn.
I can
Did
hear
you-
somebody.
Did you have your ice cream last night after Mexican?
No, we didn't. No, we didn't. No, we went and got cinnamon rolls.
Dairy Queen after Mexican.
No, no Dairy Queen. No Dairy Queen last night, but we did, like I said, we stopped by Ingles and got a bunch of cinnamon rolls. What are you doing, Jim?
Well, I got my shaky head worm out here, and I was going to show you the shaky head worm that I've been using.
I don't care about yours. I want to know about what Lisa's fishing. She's the one catching all the fish.
Lisa ain't been fishing. That's the thing. And if she
Lisa-
was
Lisa been working. Somebody got to work while Jim fishes.
yeah. So anyway, I'm gonna have to start booting you guys off if you don't straighten up. But okay, here's my shaky head. Here's my shaky head for the week. Let's see if I can get a camera right there.
Is that the
know what that is?
TRD?
Y'all know what that is?
Looks like
Big
peanut
T.
butter and
TRD.
jelly.
It is.
P&J.
Yeah, PB&J, big TRD, PB&J. The shaky head, jig head is, I'm going to pull the worm off and
That's
show
a
you
boss.
this.
That's a boss jig head.
That's a boss jig head right there. If you could see that, I don't know if you could see it or not, but that's a boss jig head. Brett Erler, I think, is the one that promotes that. That's a 1/4 ounce. And the reason why I use this, I've talked about it before, but if you see that keeper on there, the reason why I use that is these Z-Man. These are Elastec baits from Z-Man. So that little keeper is just perfect for the softer Elastec baits. So this is the way I rig it. I'm going to rig it for you real quick here. I'll show you how I rig it. I'm just going to take that hook on the flat end of the worm and put it right in the center, go down about a 1/4 inch, come around with it, pull it up on that keeper to where it's riding up on the keeper just like that. And I'm going to take, a lot of guys will side hook their baits and just kind of put the hook in the side, but I like to put it in the fat part of the meat. You just run it through there. So that's the way it looks all rigged up. And I'll tell you guys something else too. Keep that worm straight. The straighter that worm looks, the more fish you're going to catch. I mean, if it's got a big old kink in it or something like that, I don't think it works as well. But I wanted to brag about my rod a little bit. And this is one it's not a St. Croix rod, but it's my favorite shaky head rod. And that's a Shimano. It's a Shimano, I think they call it, let me make Zodius. I've had it for
Zodius?
about 3 years now. Yeah, Zodius. They're kind of expensive, but I traded some poppers for it. And that's a Stratic 2500 reel, Shimano reel. And I like that reel real good. So anyway, that's my shaky head rig. I'm using it a 8-pound test fluoro, probably about an 8-foot leader. And the cast braid, I'm using, I think, 20-pound cast braid right now. But I'll tell you something about the cast braid. You can get a good long cast with that cast braid, longer than anything else. So the second bait that I used this week and caught a lot of fish on it too, that's my little Kitech. Let's see, hang on just a second. Let's see if I could grab it.
Lisa, does he let you use cast braid?
Yeah, I think so.
Because
Yeah,
I know
there's a question. There's a question from Grant. Is, hey guys, with forward-facing sonar and shaky, fish swim up to the bait and follow it down and have a stare down. Doesn't eat it right away. What's next? Let her sit, bump it, or slow reel?
Soak it.
I soak it. I just let it sit there. It'll drive them crazy until they'll go down and hit it.
Maybe bump your rod tip a little bit to make it wiggle, but don't move the worm.
Yeah. Soak it. I usually, this is a 10-second rule. I talked about the 10-second rule before. When they follow it down like that, if they don't hit it on the way down and they follow it all the way down, let it sit there. Just let it sit there. Like these guys said, just let it sit there and soak. Because what he's going to do is he's going to stare at it. And sometimes if it moves, they'll leave. They'll leave right away. But if it doesn't move and you just let it lay there, sometimes they'll pop it. So I would definitely try soaking it first. Then I shake mine a little bit. If they don't hit it, I might just shake it a little bit. I mean, that's why they call it a shaky head, because sometimes you need to shake it to get the fish to hit it, So I'll shake it a little bit. But yeah, soak it. And then if you have to shake it, or like Jimmy said, move it a little bit. So the second bait I used this week was the Damiki. I don't have any of LJ's Damiki heads left. I don't think. I think I used every one I had at LJ's. This one here is the Kamikaze head from Trickster Bait, Benji. I think he was here earlier. But I used that and caught a lot of fish on that today. 1/4 ounce Kamikaze head, 2.8 Kitech. Take your pick on the color on the Kitech. I use 2 or 3 different colors. Sometimes I'll use just a regular white or a pearl or something like that, and then I'll mix up a couple colors. But yeah, just play around with the colors. There's a lot of different colors in Kitech, a lot of good ones that work out there. So just mess around. I will tell you this about the Kitech. I like the ones with a lot of sparkle in them. A lot of blue, a lot of sparkle. So definitely try some Kitechs, 2.8 Kitechs with sparkle in it, and a Damiki head, or any kind of 1/4 ounce head. What do you use, Jimmy? If you're using, are you using Damiki heads, or are you even using Damiki, Jimmy?
You talking to me?
Yeah.
Throwing a Kitech. I throw Benjis, and I've got some of LJ's, and I've got some that a buddy of mine in Tennessee makes too.
Yeah.
And if I'm crawling it on the bottom in the wintertime, ditch fishing, I use a Queen Tungsten.
Okay.
But just crawling it, I mean, just slow rolling it off the bottom. I use a lead bait. You don't need it for the
Maddie
feel or
come to say
anything.
hello.
Who's that?
Maddie.
That's Maddie.
That's Maddie. Maddie came to say hello.
Hey, Maddie, how you doing?
You can go now. You can go now.
Hey, Greg, Catfish Stalkers Outdoors. This guy used to buy my planer boards. He's a planer board dude from up north. But hey, Captain Greg, good to see you again. I haven't seen you in a long time. Been a long time since I sold planer boards. But anyway, good to see him.
This time of year, I keep it pretty simple with the swimmers. FCN H2O, Pearl, or that natural shad of ours. I just keep it simple. Anything that looks like a bait fish.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, okay. Well, coming up, we've got probably, before we get into a good topwater bite, we've probably got a little bit of a shad spawn. It's going to be just a little bit longer before the topwater gets going. Like I said, there's some little glimpses of it right now. Like I caught my first topwater fish this week and had some blow ups on some of the bigger baits. So that's something that's coming up. But also something that's coming up is shad spawn and beating the banks. And LJ, you remember a few years ago we were throwing the 1.5 shad crank. Remember that?
Yeah.
That thing was killing it. That thing was killing it during the shad.
You crushed me that one day.
Yeah.
When we were out. It was like 26-4. You were catching them on that day.
Yeah.
Of course, I didn't have one. You didn't give me one. I had to use a DT10.
Yeah. Well, that wasn't a bad deal either. Those DT10s work pretty good. So
they weren't working like that 1.5 you had.
Yeah, I know that thing was money. There's a couple times we went out, it was really good. But we got that coming up. Got shad spawn, and so all your bank beaten baits are going to come into play, especially when these fish get done with the spawn. They get rested up a little bit. They're going to get hungry again and start eating again for the shad spawn. So,
is anybody fishing a jerk bait?
oh yeah. Well, Eric Aldridge is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He.
Yeah, but he's not fishing as a jerk bait. He's he's stupid fishing with it. Throw it out, reel it in.
Just reel it
But
in.
he-
Yeah.
Right. But he catches fish with it.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you what, next week with this warm weather and warm rain, look for the blow-through bite to maybe crank up and the shad spawn to maybe kick in a little bit. Because if that water temperature ever rises back up and kind of stays in the 62, 63 degree range, it's gonna start.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So we got David Weaver and Grant Carmichael, both of those. David's brother wore him out on McSick 2 weeks ago. 10-second pause. So that's a pretty long pause. And then Grant Carmichael said all the fish I caught today was on a 110. So that's a jerk bait. So there's a couple of jerk bait guys right there. I haven't been throwing it, mainly is because I don't even know where my jerk baits are at right now.
Yeah.
I lost them.
Oh, I want to thank Grant for posting that video on Lake Lanier Anglers page.
Yeah.
He didn't.
Oh, I thought, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, he didn't really give away the direct location of where it was at, so that's good.
Yeah. Everybody knows, though. I mean,
Well, yeah, that's
Close
not
enough.
a secret. It's not a
Close enough,
secret spot.
Jimmy.
Oh yeah.
if
can I,
Lisa recognized it.
I
Yeah,
know.
there might be a rock island right back there where Grant was sitting.
Yeah.
That's my favorite little island, and I keep
It
telling
is.
Jim, I'm like, hey, let's hit that island. He's like, no, we're not hitting that island.
That with
Like,
Hey,
everyone.
that's- I caught a 5-pounder off of that spot earlier this year.
Do not say that.
Oh,
Do not
God.
say that.
Hey, it's not a secret.
Yeah. Did LJ leave? I guess he just got mad.
Oh, maybe he
Wow.
dropped off by accident. Yeah,
Somebody
Jimmy, that's
blew
my
LJ
favorite
out.
spot. Here he comes.
Yeah.
Hang on.
There he is.
He's back. Oh,
So sorry, we were trying to see if you could log in to read some of the chat.
Oh,
you can't
yeah,
see the chat at all?
I can't see.
We
the
can't.
chat.
No, we can't see the chat.
LJ, he froze up.
Everybody locked up now.
I'm there.
LJ,
Are you-
LJ, you can't see any of the chat?
No.
No. Okay. I guess none of y'all can see any of it. Can you see it, Lisa?
Yeah, I can see it. Maybe
Well,
because we're admins.
Yeah, we're probably admins. You can't see it, can you, Jimmy?
No.
Okay. All right. Well,
Maybe we'll check into that and see how we can.
Great.
yeah. This is the first one, so we'll build on this. But
In
we're
case
gonna
there's
break it
anything
off.
bad.
We're gonna break it off here pretty quick. We've been going for almost an hour and a half, so I'm gonna end this here pretty quick. But I think it was pretty cool. We got an hour and 23 minutes, and it looks like we got some people watching and commenting. So I'd say that this is a success, and it gives us something to build on. So thanks for dropping by, LJ and Jimmy. Hopefully I can get some more guests on here before too long. Not that LJ and Jimmy are bad.
Yeah, we're just chopped liver, Jimmy.
Yeah, we're just stand-ins so they can get the real stars.
Yeah.
fill-ins. You guys are just filling in.
Hey, at least he let you talk.
Good to see that, Bob. I'm glad you can see the chat. That's good to know. I just don't know why LJ and
What is
these
it?
guys can't see it. So,
Hey, I just want to call out the neighbor Bob, who says that he feels my pain of working too while he watches you go out from his office every morning.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's
He's
painful.
across the code from you, isn't he?
Yeah.
He
yeah.
is. He is. He can see us from the window. But the way I look at it, and you guys should look at it this way too. Now, it took me a long time to get to where I am. And you guys should look at that, me leaving out, and you'd say, boy, if I just work hard and keep working hard, I'm going to reach that someday. That's
I
gonna
say
be
when
me.
I get that old, that's gonna be me.
Yeah,
That's Lisa, you hit the nail on the head. That's exactly.
Because Jim is
Well, I'm a-
older than me, y'all.
I mean,
Yeah, well, I'm gonna tell you, I have no shame whatsoever when I pull out in the morning to go fishing about you poor devils having to work at all. Because I've worked a many a year to get to this, and I'm going to enjoy every bit of it.
Amen. Amen.
I mean, Jim was sitting there talking all that mess just now, and the only thing I could think about was I'm an old fart.
yeah. Well, these guys are going to have to. Jimmy and I are getting ready to go back down to Louisiana here pretty quick for a little red snapper, redfish trip. So
You gonna bring some back, aren't you?
yeah, that's the reason we're going down there. Is we're
Because
going to.
I had that conversation with you last night.
Yeah. We're just going
Corey
down there.
said, "Yeah, because Corey's hungry."
Yeah, we'll bring you back a red snapper or something. Definitely.
Hey, I'll bring you back one of the shrimp we're fishing with. How's that?
There you go.
God,
Man,
I
that's
love you, Sanders.
the thing about fishing with shrimp. I mean, if you don't catch fish, you can always eat your bait, and it's pretty good bait to eat too, you know.
Yeah, I'll try to keep it cool, bringing it back.
Yeah.
Okay,
Hey,
guys.
Who's driving?
Guess.
Are you wearing your crash helmet, Farmer?
Dude, hey,
I'm gonna put blinders and a muzzle on him.
I'm gonna be honest with you about Jimmy's driving. You know, back when I was in the Navy, I used to work on the flight deck of the aircraft carriers, and that was dangerous. I mean, that was dangerous work, scary work. And it's almost the same adrenaline rush when I ride with Jimmy. So it's like bringing back them old times where my life was it's flashing before my eyes, and it just reminds me of back in the day. So
Well,
no, I don't mind riding with Jimmy. He keeps me sharp.
Yeah, keeps you
Go
awake.
ahead. Keeps me sharp. Yeah, we could tell stories about that, but we won't. So.
Yeah, well, keeping him awake
Anyway,
keeps me awake.
Yeah, there you go. All right, I'm going to cut you guys off one at a time here. So, Jimmy, I'm going to let you go here. Thanks for dropping by. We'll talk
All right,
to you
bud.
See
later.
you, Jimmy.
Enjoyed it. Enjoyed
All
it.
right. LJ, thanks for dropping by, buddy. We'll see you later.
Peace out. Hey, nice job. This worked pretty good. Bye,
Okay,
Miss
yeah, I
Lisa.
think it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. We'll do it again. Okay, it's just you and me, so I'm going to drop you off. Guys, thanks for tuning in tonight. Hopefully we'll build on this and get some more content up for y'all, and the next show will be even better than this one. But thanks for dropping in. Take care and have a good weekend.